Hi guys, let me tell you a story. In the year 1866, a prestigious member of the British Parliament was traveling to Scotland to give a speech. On his way to Scotland, his carriage was mired in a thick mud of a rural road. Suddenly appeared on the scene was a young Scottish farm boy, and he quickly offered to help the carriage out of its dilemma, and he immediately set up on his way to go. But the British Parliament member offered the boy some coin as a form of payment for his service. But the young Scottish farm boy turned down the payment and said, "A good neighbor helps his neighbor out in time of distress. And besides, it is a privilege to help such an important personality like you." The British Parliament member was marveled at this young boy's sense of humanity and was compelled to ask him, "What do you want to become when you grow up?" The young Scottish farm boy replied, "I want to become a medical doctor. But that is nearly impossible as my parents cannot afford such education." The British Parliament member then made a promise to the young Scottish farm boy and said, "Don't worry, I will help you become a medical doctor." So many years passes by and the British Parliament member fulfilled his promise to the young Scottish farm boy and helped him become a medical doctor. 45 years later, in another related development, another British elder statesman was seriously sick and was dying of pneumonia. It happened at the time the British Kingdom and its Commonwealth needed his leadership to fight Hitler, who was a threat to the whole of the British Empire and the entire Europe at large as at that time. But here was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the whole depended on for direction, was critically ill without help. But somehow, he was miraculously healed because his physician administered to him an injection from a wonder drug called penicillin, which was newly discovered by an intelligent medical doctor called Alexander Fleming. How do we marry these two stories together? First, who is Alexander Fleming? Alexander Fleming was actually the young Scottish farm boy who had an encounter with the British Parliament member who helped him of fulfilling his dream of becoming a medical doctor. So who was the British elder statesman that was dying of pneumonia? His name was actually Sir Winston Churchill. He was actually the British Prime Minister as at that time. So who was the British Parliament member who helped Alexander Fleming fulfill his dream of becoming a medical doctor? His name was actually Sir Randolph Churchill. He was actually Winston Churchill's father. Sir Randolph Churchill saw a potential in a local village boy and didn't allow that potential to die, but he helped him to actualize his dream. And by doing so, almost nearly half a century later, the young boy he helped was now the one that discovered the wonder drugs that was able to save his only son, Sir Winston Churchill. And by saving Sir Winston Churchill, he was able to save the entire British Kingdom and its Commonwealth and the entire Europe at large. Because it was Winston Churchill's idea that was help, to put a stop to Adolf Hitler's reign in the entire Europe as at that time. So what does that tell us? The little help you render to that young star today, that little dream you help to salvage today might be the circle, might be the hope that you will depend on or your children might depend on tomorrow. Even though not necessarily maybe you or anyone that have a tie with you, it might be what the entire nation might depend on tomorrow. So ask your neighbor now or ask yourself, who you help? Who you help? My name remains MC Koboko. We'll see you guys again. So please share this video.